Friends, very good morning to you. We'll start our today's class. We are discussing the concept of supply. You know, this is a very important concept in the context of GST, in the context of chargeability of GST. Supply, the term supply is important for us. Today we'll discuss some specific issues. We'll quickly recapitulate what we have studied in the context of supply. All these things we are going to recapitulate, whatever we have studied up last class. Then we'll be discussing some specific issues. I'm going to share the screen. Just give me a minute for that. Quickly, I will be recapitulating all these concepts. So in case you have any query, raise that point at a particular point of time. Okay. So we started the subject. When we started the subject, we tried to understand various terms. We tried to understand what is the concept of taxable event. And we know in GST regime, supply is the taxable event. And the supply can be supply of goods or supply of services or both. Right? It may be supply of goods or supply of services. Both can be there. Both means it can be integrated supply. Can any of you give me an example when you can say supply consists of both goods as well as services? Can any of you give me an example? Can you think of some situation? Or this will be given to you as a task. You have to think of something like integrated supply.
The doctor giving medicine to a patient.
Yeah, okay, good. That's an example. Doctor is providing services and
Goods as
also
medicine.
supplying you medicine. Okay. Aditi, you replied that thing. Okay.
Yes.
Any other example? Let us go for one more example. Any example of integrated supply? That means goods as well as
food food being served at a restaurant.
okay, food is supplied in the restaurant. Okay, we'll discuss that concept. That is a different concept. But anyway, your understanding is clear at this point of time. So now you have understood there is a possibility that supply can be an integrated supply. That means a combination of goods as well as services might be there in one single supply, right? That possibility is there. That is the taxable event. And you see, now once again, quickly we are going through these definitions. Goods definitions we have understood, is it not? What is important here is that today we'll be discussing some specific things regarding this. You see, it is like defined like this. Goods means so many things it has been defined. Okay, and also it says includes actionable claims. Here one point you have to remember that in this definition of goods, specifically actionable claim has been included. Actionable claims I have discussed in detail. I told you it's a kind of debt or claim, okay, which is acceptable in civil code. There is a detailed definition of actionable claim, but at this stage we'll understand it is like this. It's a debt or claim which is recognized by civil code. Right. So you see the definition of goods specifically includes actionable claim and it specifically excludes something. What are those things which are excluded?
The properties in no, sir, money and securities.
Money and security. Okay, these two things I need you to understand that you see definition of goods specifically excludes these things. Money and securities specifically includes actionable claims. We'll be discussing some specific issues or maybe some small cases regarding these issues. Right. So this is similarly. We have also studied the definition of services, isn't it? And there you see services definition also specifically excludes something. What is that thing which is excluded in the definition of services?
The goods, money, and securities.
Okay. Okay. Goods are excluded because goods are otherwise covered there in goods definition. And supply includes goods as well as services. Goods are excluded, money and securities are excluded. And is there anything which is included specifically in the definition of services? Money is excluded, securities are excluded, but is there anything which is included? Can you reply? Question is to Shweta. Shweta,
Yes, sir.
question is whether services definition specifically includes certain activities. What are the activities which are specifically included in the definition of services? Who else can reply? Very simple thing.
Sir, can you repeat the question, sir? Your voice, sir, it's not clear, sir.
Okay. Let me repeat that question. Question is that, as Aditi told just now, the definition of services specifically excludes goods, money, and securities.
Yes,
That
sir.
means these things are specifically excluded from the definition of services. If goods are supplied or money is supplied or securities are supplied, that will not be considered as supply of services because definition excludes. Now, question is that is there any activity which is specifically included in the definition of services?
The transaction involving money.
Transactions involving money. It is
Like
exactly
banking, sir, education.
activities. If you see activities
Yes, sir.
relating to use of money,
Of money.
use of money.
Bank.
Okay, but that's not enough. All these kind of activity, money related activities for the use of money, conversion of money, etc., for which a separate consideration is charged. That is the key point. Only when some separate consideration is charged, then only that activity will be included in services. Is it clear? Okay. The purpose of asking you this question is to focus on these particular wordings for which a separate consideration is charged. If separate consideration is not charged, even if it is used for use, if services are provided for use of money, still it will be out of the purview of services definition. Is it clear to you? Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this thing you try to understand when you are learning definition. These activities are included, provided a separate consideration is charged for that. Principle is not that important for us at this stage, but family we have understood. Right. The business, previous class also I had repeated that thing. You see, this definition is important for us. Why it is important? We will be discussing various issues relating to business today. Right. So roughly have an idea. Inclusive definition: trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, adventure, leisure, all these activities are included. Okay, incidental or ancillary activities are also included. Okay, and whether it is continuously conducted or that means continuity, regularity, frequency, volume, all these things are immaterial. right? Okay. So supply or acquisition of goods, including capital goods and services in connection with the commencement or closure of business, that is also business. Club, association, society, or anybody, if they are conducting some activities, that is also business activities. Admission for a consideration into a premises, that is also business. Okay, services supplied by the holder of an office, that's also business. We'll be discussing all these things. Rest club services, fertilizer services are also business. Right? Activity transaction undertaken by governments are also business. So broadly, have this thing in mind that all these activities are business. Okay. You have any query, then ask me at this point of time. Government, local authority, Constitution is again important for us. Okay. So what is this? In relation to supply of goods, some payment may be made or it is to be made, all those things are consideration. But here what you have to remember, it does not include one thing. Consideration does not include what?
The two things,
Two
subsidy
things.
from
Yeah, very good. It doesn't include two things. What is
the
this part?
subsidy given by the central government or state government, as well as
Okay.
the deposits.
Yes,
Deposits.
deposits will not be regarded as consideration. Okay. You see, all these exceptional things you have to remember, because all these case studies or specific questions that will be asked out of this exceptions only. Right? So you have to distinguish that which is a consideration, which is not a consideration, which is a business, which is not a business, which is goods, which is not a goods, which are services, which are not a services. Okay, these areas are extremely important, uh, not only for understanding, but also for tax planning, for applying your GST skills, and also for the purpose of examination. Okay, actionable claims I explained you just now. Agent is definitely relevant. Just have a broad idea. We'll be discussing some issues relating to agency. Factor, broker, commission, agents, all these things are agents. Okay. So we know this thing. There is a concept of Delaware agency that also we had discussed. Manufacturer, we know money have taxable supply. You see, supply you have understood. Taxable supply means only those supply on which tax is levied. Taxable territory, Persons also we had discussed yesterday in detail what the definition of persons. Recipient, this discussion also we have discussed. It is situation specific, is it not? Where consideration is payable, the person who is liable to pay is the recipient. Where no consideration is payable, then who is the recipient? To whom goods are delivered or made available, or to whom possession or use of the goods are given. Right? And where no consideration is payable for supply of services, the person to whom services are rendered is the recipient. The term recipient is important. In different situations, different people can be the recipient. A recipient includes their agents. Supplier, once we'll understand what is the meaning of supply, it will be more clear for us. Person who is making supply, he is basically the supplier. Now, after that, we try to understand this concept of supply. In the previous class, we have tried and we covered substantial portion of section 7. Okay, some specific issues are there related to section 7 we'll be discussing today. After that only we'll be proceeding to section 8. But section 7 is extremely important. You can see the entire keystone of GST architecture lies with section 7. So therefore repeatedly we are discussing this section. There might be many complex situations or many decision making situations, challenging situations where we have to decide whether this particular activity is a supply or not. And we have seen section 7 contains various subsections and various clauses. First, coming to subsection 1. How many subsections are there? Anybody who does remember?
The 4 subsections.
4 subsections. Section 1, 1A,
Section 1A,
then
2, and 3.
3. Okay. Entire section 7 and the related schedules are important for us. As you see, these schedules also you'll be learning. Schedule 1 talks about certain activities that are treated as supply, even if there is no consideration. Just now we have seen what is consideration. So only those activities which are there in Schedule 1, when there is no consideration, that will be still treated as supply. And activities, Schedule 2 tries to help in certain situations where there is a confusion that whether it will be regarded as supply of goods or supply of services. Schedule 2 identifies certain activities to be treated as supply of goods, certain activities to be treated as supply of services. We will be discussing various cases relating to this Schedule 2 also today. That is our plan to complete that part, right? But that will be useful only when we have complete control over this section. Only when we will be able, well, after understanding this section thoroughly, then only we will be able to discuss those case studies. Okay, otherwise it will be difficult for you to apply your mind, and it is also not advisable that you have to that means mug up the case studies and remember the things. You should be able to understand the section and apply your mind. And Schedule 3 also important because that lists out certain things which are neither supply of goods nor supply of services. Is it not? These 3 schedules I had shown you yesterday and also shown you what is the original source, where from you can see these 3 schedules. Right? So again, what we'll do, we'll recapitulate section 7 and these 3 schedules. Section 8 purposefully we are keeping it. Maybe we'll be learning it in subsequent classes, not today's class. But let us see first what is section 7 on subsection 1. Right? Here we have understood what are the things included in supply, inclusive definition: sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease. Okay, all these things, disposals, all these things are supply. Here one key point is that importation of services are supply, but here you have to remember, even if it is not in the course or furtherance of business, still that will be regarded as supply if it is for a consideration. Okay. Normal definition of the supply is that it includes sale, transfer, barter, exchange, all these things, but it should be in the course or furtherance of the business, and it should be for a consideration. So consideration is important, and in the course or furtherance of business, that is also important. But for import of services, consideration is definitely important, but in the course or furtherance of the business is not relevant. Even if it is not in the course of business or for furtherance of the business, still it will be regarded as supply. Okay. Then there is list of activities which are there in the Schedule 1. Even if they are made without consideration, they are still regarded as supply. Schedule 1, I had shown you. Once again, you can see permanent transfer or disposal of business assets. Here, what is important here is that where input credit is available. Okay, yesterday we had discussed this thing, but here today you focus on this area where ITC is available. There are certain goods on which ITC is blocked. If ITC is blocked, then of course that will not be, even if there is a permanent transfer of business asset, then that will not be regarded as supply. Understood? So you focus in this part that input tax has been available, or that particular business asset may be eligible for ITC, but it has not been availed. If it has not been availed, then what will happen? Even if it's a permanent transfer or disposal, and even if without consideration, still it will not be regarded as supply. Okay. Then supply of goods related persons we have seen without consideration, but gift not exceeding 50,000 per annum by employer to employee, that will not be regarded as supply. Okay. Then supply of goods by principal to agent, where agent undertakes to supply on behalf of the principal. So supply of goods, principal is supplying to the agent. and agent has undertaken to supply those goods on behalf of the principal, or supply of goods by agent to principal, where again agent has undertaken supply of goods by agent to principal. That means agent is giving goods to the principal, where agent undertakes to receive such goods on behalf of the principal. Agent has given undertaking that he will be receiving goods on behalf of the principal. Okay, and because of that, agent is supplying to the principal. Agent has received and is supplying. All these cases we treat it as supply, even if it is made without consideration. Even if there is no consideration, it will be get supply. Then import of services by related person. From related person and services are imported. Right? Or from any of his establishment outside India in the course of furtherance of business. That is also regarded as supply. All these points are important for participating in the case study discussions. Okay, I think you are recapitulating with me so that we can participate. What is the meaning of distinct person? I had explained you today. Again, in appropriate time, I will be explaining that. Then 1A talks about Schedule 2. Section 1A talks about the Schedule 2, where certain goods and certain supplies are classified either as supply of goods or as supply of services. Right? You see, under transfer, certain things are regarded as supply of goods, certain things are regarded as supply of services. Similarly, land and building, leasing, tenancy, easement, etc. All these things are supply of services. Right? Treatment or process are supply of services. You know all these things. Okay. Transfer of business, all these things we had discussed in our previous class. Supply of services. Renting of immovable properties, supply of services. Okay. The section 2 talks about Schedule 3, where there are list of activities which are what is Schedule 3? They are neither supply of goods nor supply of services. We have seen all this. Right? We have discussed in the last class. If you want, you can have a look so that you can participate in the case discussions. Okay. Coming to section 3, it talks about government may, on the basis of recommendation made by GST Council, specified by notification the transactions which is to be regarded as supply of goods and not as supply of services, or which may be regarded as a supply of services and not as supply of goods. That is the government's power. Okay, we have analyzed the supply definition in the previous class. We are not repeating that thing today. Certain exceptions are there. Specifically, we had covered the concept of supply. We have covered in the last class. What are the things included in the supply? What are excluded in the supply? We had learned all these things. If you got any query, then ask that thing right now. What is the specific? What is barter, exchange? All these things we have discussed. Consideration again and again we had discussed. One case we have discussed regarding consideration. In the course of furtherance of business, that concept also we had discussed earlier. Now today we'll continue a discussion from this point, which is a part of concept of supply. Okay, here let us see this particular case. Let us say, I'm not showing you the case purposefully, or let us say, let us discuss this point right now. Let me give you an example. Let us say some of you buys a car for your personal use, right? After some days of use, or some years of use, we are selling this car. Now, will it be regarded as a supply? You have purchased a car, you are selling this car. Will it be regarded as supply?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Why? Okay, let me see who is replying.
So Adarsh.
Yeah. Okay. On what basis you are saying this is any different opinion from anybody? You purchased a car, used it for your personal use, not for business use.
So then somebody will use that car also. So
Somebody will be using that car. So for personal use, you had purchased a car, and after a few years you sold it. Question is it supply? Others has replied, yes, it is supply. Any different opinion?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a supply of goods as a transfer of ownership is there.
Okay. So as you see, prima facie it appears, or most of you are saying it is supply of goods. Let me show you the answer. Why it is not a supply? The reason is that we have understood that supply will be there only when it is in the course or furtherance of business. In my question, I had mentioned that you had purchased a car for personal use, and after using few days, you disposed it off. Now, what will be your answer after knowing this in the course of a furtherance of business? Are you supplying that car in the course of business or in the course of furtherance of business? Others, please answer. Are you supplying this?
but we are selling it to a car dealer and we are getting our money back. So
Yes. Okay, car dealer I had not mentioned, but anyway, if you are seeing the slide, it is there in the car dealer. But even then, are you supplying the car to the car dealer in the course of business or
no,
in
sir,
furtherance of
not in the
business? And no,
no,
is it not?
no. Yes.
Is it not? No. So if it is no, it is not a supply. Okay, that is why no, you will when we will discussing all these issues. So focus on the exceptions. What are the things which are exceptional? Now you see, it is not in the course. Car dealer for car dealer, that might be a business transaction, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but car dealer is not supplying. You are supplying now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you are supplying, but technically under GST definition of supply, it is not a supply because it is not in the course of business or it is not for furtherance of business. Understood this example? All of you are agreeing to this or you have a different point of view? Someone is selling his personal car to a car dealer. Just because he is selling car dealer, that doesn't mean that it is a business supply. It's not a commercial supply. It is not in the course of business. It's only a personal car. All of you understood? Yes or no? Now, same thing, let us say, let me ask one more question. Let us say some of you sold gold jewelry, not as a business. Let us say you are selling gold jewelry to the jeweler shop. Is it a supply or it's not a supply? Question goes to Mridula. Selling of gold jewelry by a person in a gold shop. Personal gold jewelry sold to a jeweler. Is it a supply or not? What is your answer, Mridula? Okay, question goes to Drishti.
Yes, sir.
Is it a supply? Did you understand the question, Drishti?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Question is that let us say a person is supplying his personal jewelry or personal is selling his personal jewelry at a jeweler shop. Okay, used jewelry sold to a jeweler.
Yes, sir.
Is it a supply or not? Under
No, sir.
GST? No.
No, sir.
Okay, why no?
So because it's not his regular business.
Yeah, it is not in the course of business or it is not
Yes, sir.
for
Not a.
furtherance of business. That is the
Yes,
question.
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so it's not for furtherance of business. Right. Now, let me tell you one more example. Let us say a particular politician, let us say a politician, he has done some painting. Understood? He has done some painting and he auctioned this painting or he sold all these paintings. Okay, and whatever money he got, he donated that money to a charitable trust. Okay, now question comes, when all these paintings are auctioned or all these paintings made by the politician means the regular job is to do politics. Incidentally, he has done some painting and these paintings are auctioned or paintings are sold. Whether the sale of painting by a politician will constitute a supply. Question is to, yeah, Aditi, you answer this question. Did you understand the
Yes,
situation?
sir. Sir, once more. Sir, the same na, like the artist is. So you repeat.
And let me repeat. So right now we are just seeing in the previous cases that we have seen that supply should be made in the course of business or furtherance of business. Right. Now my situation is that there is a politician and the politician has made some paintings. Okay. Incidentally, that politician is also uh, he also knows
A
a little bit
painter.
of art. Yeah, and these paintings are sold through auction, and the auction money is donated to a charitable organization. Now, our question is that when paintings are sold, will it amount to supply made by the politician?
So then the money is given to the charity.
Money is given for charity. That's also a different story. Now, question is not extending to that point. Now, question is that when the supply of paintings by politician or the sale of paintings by the politician,
Yes, sir, it's a supply then.
it's supply. Why?
So because so there is a transaction involving money or there is a business involving there in the sale of paintings in the
Is it
auction.
now in the previously when you were discussing? I think question was
It was given for the display only. The
that was
previous
different. That
question.
was given for display. That was their issue was that consideration is not involved. Money is not involved, but here money is involved. Okay. Now, is it
Yes,
in
sir.
the course of business or furtherance of the business? Is it the business of the politician to
No, so it's not the business.
then?
But
But
the money
I
is
think it's
generated.
I think it's a business purpose, sir.
yeah, it
Why,
is why?
sir? Why he will put that painting to auction? Obviously to get money, sir.
No, that you cannot interpret like this. What is his intention? We don't know. Whatever might
Yes,
be his
sir.
Sir, but
intention. We have to see objectively. We have to see the transaction. Okay, his intention might be something. His intention might be different, and he collected the money and donated. Now, if you can prove this is business, then okay, it is in the course of business or the furtherance of the business. If you can say it is not a business, then there is a different story. If it is not a business, then the supply is not in the course of business or furtherance of the business. If that is so, then definitely it is not a supply. So that is
Yes,
why,
sir.
is it not? So that is what we have to think. We have to apply our mind there only, whether it's a business or not. Okay,
So then it won't be a business.
it won't be business. Now you are thinking it won't be business. Okay, if there is
Yes,
some
sir.
dispute, Don't worry, dispute will be there. If there is some dispute, let me show you the definition of business. Let us see, then we will decide what is business.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we'll again come back to this slide. This is slide number 63. Let me go back. Business definition is here. Yeah. No, exact
So
business.
it's a business, I think so, sir.
No, I want
According to
the
your question.
exact definition of business, which I had told you. Taught you. Yeah, this is the exact definition of business, isn't it? Now have a look. The first fact: business includes trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, vocation, adventure, leisure, or similar activity. Now this painting made by the politician, is it a trading activity, commerce activity, manufacture? Is it his profession?
Yes, sir.
No,
It's
sir.
Or is it his vocation?
No, no.
Is it his vocation? It's not his profession, but is it his vocation? What is your answer? Apply your
No,
mind.
sir.
Huh?
No, it's not even vocation, sir.
Not even vocation. Why you are saying it is not even vocation?
Sir, he is a politician, sir. It's
Politician
not
can
his
have a
occupation.
vocation. It's not his profession. He can have his vocation. Okay. In this particular situation, a clarification has been made in some. You see, the department has published certain FAQs, frequently asked questions, where the similar kind of situation has been clarified. And according to that FAQ, in this kind of situation, this will be considered as a vocation. Okay, whoever is doing this painting, etc.
but vocation is similar to profession only, sir.
Vocation is similar to profession. Okay. Yes, it is similar to profession means what? In what sense?
Like
The vocation is something in which
it's a
we have a interest,
Yeah.
like a interest in
You have
the.
interest
It
and you
can
may
be.
not have a
Yes, sir.
professional qualification for that, but still
Yes,
you
sir.
do it. Okay.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in that case, in this particular case, you see, opinion might be different, but according to this FAQ, which is published by the department, it says the business includes vocation. In this kind of situation, it will be regarded as a supply. Okay, sale of painting by any person who may be an actor, who may be a politician, who might be engineer. Okay, so this will be regarded if they are doing this thing, that is their vocation, and this will be regarded as what? This will be regarded as supply. Okay, understood? Okay, one more question I am asking. Okay, try to understand how we are applying this definition or applying our knowledge in this kind of situation. Now, let us say here is an example of resident welfare association. Do you know what is resident welfare association? So you can say community or in apartments you have resident welfare
The
association.
society.
Yeah, it's a
only.
society. What they do, they deposit the members' electricity bill. So they collect electricity bill for the members and the money, and they charge something. Okay, per member they charge, let us say, 50 rupees. And on the behalf of the member, this somebody from this welfare association will go to the electricity office and deposit the money. Okay. So now question arises: is it a supply of service by the welfare association to the members? Understood the situation?
So can you repeat the first part of the question?
The situation is like this. That is a resident welfare association, or you can say this is a house owners club or house owners association. And this house owners association collects money from the members for depositing electricity bill. Okay, and they charge some money, some commission to the owners. Okay.
Yes, sir, it is.
Now, question is it a supply? That means they are providing a service of depositing electricity bill to the members. But thing is that this is a mutual association, it's a club kind of thing. Right? Whether this kind of service provided to the members of a mutual association will be regarded as supply or not.
Yes, sir, it is a supply.
It's a supply? Why you are
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Why you
Sir,
are saying?
because this type of activity comes under the definition of business.
Yes,
So,
exactly. That is the answer. So provision of service by a club or association. You may say this is a mutual association, it's a club, but the definition of business includes that provision of services made by a club or association or society to its members is treated as supply. Okay, because it is included in the definition. Right, the business definition specifically includes that. And on the next point we'll discussing, let us say some money is charged for admission into a theater. So that money is charged, will it be covered under the supply definition? That means admission into a theater or admission into a playground, if money is collected. Will it be regarded as supply of services? What do you say?
so yes, it would be regarded.
Yes, it will be regarded as supply of services. You have to remember this. Services by way of admission into circus, cinema hall, amusement parks, including theme parks, water parks, yoga park, anything, are considered as supply, and these are the services. Okay, by way of admission of person to any premises for a consideration. If consideration is there, when your admission is made by charging some money, when consideration is there, so that is the supply. And also we had discussed this thing, services provided at race clubs, etc., like totalizer service, etc. All these things are supply. Now, at this point, we have discussed various things or various issues where a particular transaction shall be regarded as supply or not. But you see, once it is supply, then again you have to see whether this supply is taxable supply or not. Okay. So how to know that, or in which situation tax will be levied? We have to check two additional conditions. First of all, we have to see supply must be made by a taxable person. Who is a taxable person? We have briefly discussed. Again, I will be discussing it today. If it is, first of all, we will have to see whether it is supply or not. If it is supply, we have to see whether supply has been made by a taxable person or not. So what do you understand at this stage when I say taxable person? Anybody who can help me? The meaning of taxable person. Just share your thoughts. Anyone who can say who is a taxable person? Okay, let me help you. I'll be in detail. I'll be explaining. At this stage, you understand taxable person means who is registered under GST law or who is supposed to be registered, who is liable to register himself under GST law, they are the taxable person. Or somebody, if somebody has voluntarily registered himself under GST law, he is also a taxable person. So in order to levy GST, first of all, we have to see there is supply. The supply must be made by a taxable person, and supply must be taxable supply. It should not be an exempt supply. If supply is exempted, then that's not a taxable supply, even if it is made by a taxable person. So GST will not be levied in that kind of situation. Okay. So a supply to attract GST should be made by a taxable person. Right? So supply can be made both by taxable person and non-taxable person. If supply is made by non-taxable person, then that will not attract GST. Understood? Okay, registration we will be learning separately in separate chapter, but briefly in the initial chapter I had told you what is the requirement of registration. That means who are the people who is supposed to go registration. Anybody who has remembered what is the turnover limit for registration under GST? Anyone has remembered? In the first chapter we had discussed. We'll be discussing it again in detail, but if you have remembered the requirement for registration, who are the people who are liable to register themselves? Please tell me, what is the limit of turnover? Who can say? In different states, different limits are there, but most of the states, or in our state, okay, if you have not remembered, fine, it is 40 lakh, right? So let us say your turnover is not 40 lakh, then you may not register yourself. Voluntarily you may go for registration, but you got a choice. You may register, you may not register. In that situation, if you are making some supplies, even if goods are taxable, but you are a non-taxable person. So if you are non-taxable person, you are making some supplies, then you don't worry, you will not have to pay GST on this. Okay, when the supply is between two non-taxable person, it does not constitute a taxable supply. Okay, two non-taxable persons. That means supplier is a non-taxable person, a recipient is also non-taxable person. Okay, then also GST not leviable.
Example, sir.
Okay, let us example. Let's say who is speaking?
Others.
Others. Okay, others. You see, do you have your own GST registration?
Not yet,
No,
sir.
you don't have. Is it not? Let
Yes.
us say, so you are not a taxable person. Why you don't have GST registration? If you ask, you say, I don't sell anything, I don't supply anything. Or even if I supply something, my entire value of the supply is falling under 40 lakh limit. In a year, I don't supply more goods or services more than 40 lakh. So therefore, I have not gone for registration. You can say registration law is not applicable to me. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Now
sir.
you see, let us say you are supplying something to your friend. Your friend is also not a registered person. So you are not a taxable person. He is not a taxable person. Okay.
sir.
And
Got
the
it.
supply, therefore, supply is not a taxable supply. But let us say you are not a taxable person, but you are supplying something to me. I am a taxable person. I got a GST list. I got a GST. If that is case, then also your supply is not taxable. Okay, because you are supplying. Recipient has got a registration number, that doesn't matter. Recipient is a taxable person, right? But who is supplying? You are the supplying.
But you said now that between two non-taxable persons.
Okay, I told that thing, but before that also I had given you the other example, and again I will be telling you one more example also. Okay, first of all, supply between two non-taxable persons will definitely not constitute taxable. Okay, and supply made by a non-taxable person to a taxable person will also not attract GST because you are the supplier.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so a supply attracting GST can be made to a non-taxable persons also. You can supply to a non-taxable person, you can supply to a taxable person also. Okay. The restriction of being a taxable person is only on the supplier, whereas the recipient can either taxable or non-taxable. So the restriction that who will go for the registration is only on the supplier. The recipient can be either taxable person or non-taxable person. So you may supply to me, I am a taxable person. You may supply to a friend, who is a non-taxable person. Understood? Okay. Only when supply is made by a taxable person, if I am supplying something, then it will attract GST. But so long as the person who is supplying is not a taxable person, then GST will not be attracted. Did you understand up to this? Now, let me tell you who is a taxable person. Up to this, is it clear? Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let us say who is a taxable person. Three situations you can say. Taxable person is a person who is registered. If someone is registered under GST law, then he is taxable person. Or who is liable to be registered. His turnover has exceeded, but he has not gone for registration. That means he is liable to be registered. If he is liable to be registered, then he is still a taxable person. Right? So therefore, an unregistered person, if he is liable to be registered, is also a taxable person. So first case is that registered person is a taxable person. Unregistered person who are liable for registration are also taxable person. And the third category is that if somebody has gone for voluntary registration, let us say you don't require registration because your turnover is not up to that. Turnover is below 40 lakh. But still you have voluntarily gone for registration. If you have voluntarily gone for registration, then you become a taxable person. Right? Are you getting me? So there are three possibilities. Who can tell me what are the three possibilities of becoming a taxable person? Who can tell me? Three situations when a person can be regarded as a taxable person. Can anyone tell me? Anurag, can you reply?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please reply. I told three situations when a person can become a taxable person. I repeat. First case, when the person has gone for registration. That means if he is registered under GST, he is a taxable person. Second case, if he is liable for registration, he is also a taxable person. Third case, if he has voluntarily gone for registration, even if he is not liable, he is also a taxable person. You have to remember this. Okay. Now, next concept is about taxable supply. We have understood supply. What is supply, what is not a supply? We should be able to decide on that. Now, once we decided what is supply, what is not a supply, next thing is that we have to see whether this supply is taxable or not. Okay, supply is taxable when GST is leviable. Okay, but GST law contains some exemptions. If they're exempted supply, then that's not taxable supply. Otherwise, it's a taxable supply. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so two things are important. Only supply is not only important, we have to see supply must be made by a taxable person and the supply must be taxable supply. Okay, taxable supply made by a taxable person. Then only GST will be attracted. Right. So for the timing, we'll close our session here. few more issues or few more cases we'll be discussing in your next class, which will be related to supply. Okay, you have any query up to this? Do you have any query?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So we'll catch up after 15 minutes. We'll catch up. We'll have one more session. We'll be discussing about this concept of supply and some important cases in supply.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thanks a lot.